See, now it says that there's me just standing around. Maybe it just takes time. What do you see?
Right now, nothing.
See, look at mine. Okay, so been struggling with technology this morning because this is all very new to me. I think there might just be a little delay in the time that it takes for me to stream through this software and the time that it actually appears. So I am going to start, and if it's working, if we can determine that it's working, then you guys will have a yoga class, and if not, I'll just find a different way to post one later on. So for those of you kind of sticking with me and bearing with me as I figure it out, thank you. And we're just going to get back to it. So at the top of your yoga mat, just roll your shoulders back and open, spread out your toes, lift up your kneecaps, start to find that tall spine, spiral the thigh bones inward, lift up through your kneecaps, take a deep breath, float the arms up, and as you exhale, press through the palms, sink the shoulders down the back. And again, inhale, scooping up, getting long through the fingertips, lifted through the spine. Exhale, feel the ribs close lightly to the hips, feel those legs stay active, feet are firm on the mat. One more time, inhaling up, exhale, dive down, long spine, all the way into a forward fold, relaxing through the head and the neck, letting the arms go really loose. You can start to set some intention for your practice here, thinking about what brought you to your mat, just allowing thoughts to enter your mind, acknowledging them and letting them go, allowing yourself to be present with your breath, present with your practice, feeling that expansion of the breath into the belly. 2 more breaths here, inhaling that spine a little longer, feeling the backs of the legs unwind just a little bit. Big expansion through the upper body. Inhale halfway up. And exhale back down all the way into that forward fold. Deep breath all the way up. Lifting really tall. Exhaling to heart center, drawing the midline of the body, letting the shoulders drop down away from the ears. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, dive down, reaching through the crown of the head. Dropping the chin. And again, 4 or 5 breaths here if you need to sway a little bit. Just seeing where your body's at. If you need to shake your head out, letting those shoulders loosen up. And if you'd like, you can hold your elbows to frame your face. You can hold the backs of the legs. You can place your hands under your feet. Whatever you need to do, whatever feels right for your body right now in this moment today. Feel the backs of the legs unwind a little bit more, lots of distance from the hips to the heels. And then releasing any hold you might have. Inhale halfway up. Exhale back down, drop the chin. Deep breath all the way up, strong through the arms and legs. Exhale to your heart center, lifting really tall. So if you're not at the top of your mat, come on up to the top of your mat. We're going to go into a full sun salutation. And spiral in, strong mountain pose. Inhale, breathing up. Exhale, diving down. Foot takes a giant step back and plants into a lunge. And you can just take a minute to find that lunge. So you can wiggle your feet into place. You want that knee over the ankle. Even pressure from your big toe, pinky toe, and heel. And if your hands are on the mat, great. If you have blocks and you want to put your hands on some blocks, or you can bring your hands up to your thigh bone, that's great too. Whatever allows you to keep a very tall posture from the tailbone all the way up through the crown of the head. So as you're here, you're really using that breath to settle into that hip. And you're keeping that inhale, letting your spine reach tall, reaching back through that back foot. As you exhale, letting the hips drop down, letting that right hip open. If you have room to move, you can add some ankle movement, you can add some front knee extension. Lots of good breath. Inhaling, and if there's room for that movement, just keeping your hips square to the front edge of your mat, keeping the shoulders strong away from the ears. As you extend, you're spinning that right hip forward, keeping that front big toe firmly planted. On your next exhale, lower that back knee all the way down to the mat, flatten through the toes. Inhale, lifting tall, low lunge. Lots of good breath. Get tall through the crown of the head. If this bothers your shoulders, you can always be in heart center. You can stay in mountain. Whatever's going to work for you today. Lifting really tall, tail tucks under. We're gliding that weight forward into the front foot, reaching tall, leaning the shoulders back if there's room. Eyes can look up if there's room for it. Nothing should be painful in that neck. On your exhale, bringing it back down. Tuck the back toes under, stepping into a plank, toes or knees, so you can be on your toes or on your knees, either one. Spreading out your hands really, really big, spin the creases of the elbows forward. Stand tall in your plank. We'll be here for a couple breaths. So we're feeling all these muscles kicking in, supporting our muscles and our bones. Wrapping up those muscles around the bones, letting them hug the bones. Navel pulls in on your exhale. We're pushing our body away from the mat, trying to broaden across the upper back. Taking one more breath here. And as you exhale, coming down in chaturanga really slow, all the way to your mat. Flattening through your toenails. Inhale, peel the chest off the mat, baby cobra. And if you'd like to, you can float those hands. Feel the shoulders roll back and open, send the heart forward. Feeling those low back muscles kick in, start to engage and support through your spine. Bringing it down, plant the palms on either side of the ribs. Inhale, pressing up into a cobra. And you can lift any amount. You're just sending the heart forward, you're pulling the shoulders back. Lots of space between those ears and shoulders. Breathe into the belly. Even out all the pressure in your hands from your pinkies to your thumbs. Inhale your toes under. Exhale, shifting back into a downward dog. First one of the morning with our practice today. Letting those hands be firm, letting those heels melt down. You can take some time to just pedal out those heels, walk the dog a little bit. Feel where your body's at this morning. And downward dog is a recovery posture. So if it ever feels like it's not enough recovery, you can always take a child's pose anytime during your practice, and then just come right back in whenever you're ready to. Taking one more breath here, really tall extension through those arms, heels melting down, navel drawing inward. Eyes look forward, walking it up, right and left. Placing your feet for that forward fold, relaxing the upper body. Deep inhale all the way up, strong from the feet, all the way to the fingertips. Exhale to your heart center, drawing that midline of your body. And just taking a moment in mountain to kind of see how those arms are sitting on your shoulders, how you're holding your weight on your feet from right to left. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So spreading out through your toes, lifting up tall, take a deep inhale. Exhale, dive down, long, tall spine. Drop the chin. Inhale, halfway up. Exhaling back down. Hands on either side of the feet. Left foot this time takes a giant step back. And just take the time to kind of place your feet, wiggling into that lunge. Firm pressure through that front foot, big toe, pinky toe, heel. Feel that extension forward through the top of the head, forward through that front knee and shin, back through the back foot, firmly pressing that back foot toward the wall behind you. Shoulders strong down the back. Use your inhale to get taller in each direction. Use your exhale to let the hips drop. Use your exhale to draw the navel up into the spine. And if there's room on this side of the body to add a little ankle movement, to maybe add a little knee extension, you can see where you're at on this side. Keeping the hips square to the front edge of the mat. Keeping that breath moving, keeping the shoulders strong away from the ears. And on your next exhale, bringing that onto the mat, flattening through your toes, firming up through that front foot. Inhale to lift, finding that low lunge. Starting by getting your spine so tall. Tail tucks under, you're gliding your weight forward, reaching the thumbs back. And if there's room for you to take your eyes up and to lift up through that heart, send lots of breath into the belly, breathing all the way down into that left hip. Letting the shoulders fall down the back. One more breath here. Exhaling your hands to the mat. Tuck the back toes under, stepping into your plank. On your toes or on your knees. Spread out through the fingers. Feel the undersides of your knuckles engaged to the mat. Shoulders set away from the ears. So finding that mountain posture in your plank. Take one more breath here. And exhale, chaturanga all the way down to your mat again. Flattening through the toenails. Inhaling, extending those arms. Exhale, reach and extend, pull the shoulders back. Reaching through the fingers and toes, activate all those muscles. As you breathe, inhale, get a little bit longer. As you exhale, press the palms back, fingers and toes reaching to the same direction. Top of the head reaches forward. So strong. Bringing it back down, inhaling to extend. Exhale, lifting up. And on your next breath, exhale, press through the palms. Shoulders away from the ears. And then bringing that back down. Hands come right next to your ribs. Inhale, pressing up, cobra. Lifting any amount, a little or a lot. Elbows tuck in tight, heart sends forward. Evening out those fingers. One more breath into your belly. Inhaling your toes under. Exhale, shifting back. Belly button pulls in, downward facing dog. Second one of the day, seeing where those heels are at. Really tall extension. If you want, you can let those thigh bones spiral in a little bit. Let those heels repel away from each other. Lots of good breath. Heart melts down between the shoulders. Lots of energy from the undersides of your knuckles, the base of the fingers connecting to the mat, all the way up the arms, spinning those creases of your elbows inward. Reaching the ribs up to the hips, reaching the hips up to the ceiling. One more breath. Eyes look forward, walking up left and right, placing your feet, spreading out those toes. You can use your hands to kind of get a little bit of space in between each one of your toes. Try to see the mat if you can. Inhale all the way up. Strong arms, strong legs. Exhale back to heart center. All the way into your mountain. And just see where you're at. So maybe feeling a little bit warmer. And we're going to keep going from here. We'll build off our sun salutation. Top of your mat. Spreading out through those toes, lifting up strong. Roll the shoulders open, starting in a big tall mountain. Inhale, scooping up your breath, holding onto it. Exhale, dive down, reach through the crown of the head. Inhaling halfway up. And exhale back into plank. You can step or hop any way you want to get there. Taking a breath. Exhale into a chaturanga, scooping through. Inhaling up into your cobra. Upward dog if you'd like. If you're feeling warmer on the tops of the feet, extended elbows. Exhale into your downward facing dog. Navel pulls in, heart melts down. Inhale that right leg way up. Exhale, draw that knee toward your chin, sliding into a plank. So moving with your breath, inhaling to extend, exhaling to draw that knee inward. And just finding that range of motion. And you can do this with your left foot on the mat or with your left knee on the mat. So either one, whatever is going to work for you. Taking about 3 more breaths. Really strong engagement. Shoulders down the back. Navel pulls in. Drawing that knee forward. So strong. Big reach. And on your last one here, big inhale. Exhale, planting your foot. Feet are on railroad tracks, so about hip distance apart. And planting your feet firm. Inhale to lift up. Tall lunge this time, actively pushing back And your eyes can look somewhere on the floor in front of you for balance. Or if you want a challenge, you can look up to those thumbs for a balance challenge. So you can either keep that right here, or if you'd like to, add in some rotation, inhaling to lift. Exhale over your right shoulder. Your eyes can look at your thumb, or they can just track forward. Inhale, lifting up, so tall. Exhale over the other shoulder. So moving with your breath, staying tall in the spine. And if you wobble a little bit, that's okay. If you need to change your foot placement, that's okay too. One more time, staying really firm in the hips, allowing those shoulders to rotate. And bringing it back center, anything you need to do to balance yourself out. Exhale all the way down to your mat. Stepping into a plank, toes or knees. Taking a breath here. And as you chaturanga, scooping down, up into your cobra, your upward dog. Now you can either go into a downward dog, or you can reverse that chaturanga and press into a downward dog if you want a little strength challenge. From here, either downward dog, or you can take your thumbs and index fingers and connect them to make a diamond. Looking at your big toes, inhaling to bend the elbows, and exhaling to press up. So you can do this with or without this press. Still reaching tall through the sits bones, legs are active. Trying to keep your spine straight. You can bend any amount, a little or a lot. The more you bend those elbows, the more challenging it is. You're just lowering the crown of the head towards your mat as you look past your big toes. One more. Bringing it back to your downward dog. Eyes looking forward, walking that up, finding your forward fold. Spreading out through the toes, relaxing the head and the neck. Take a deep inhale all the way up. Exhaling to heart center. All the way into your mountain. And again, feeling where you're at, we'll do the same thing on the other side. Inhale, scooping up. Active through those legs. Exhale, dive down, reach back through that tailbone. Drop the chin. Inhale halfway. Exhale into your plank. You can step or hop any way you want to get there. Taking a breath here in your plank. Exhale, chaturanga, scooping with that breastbone. Inhaling, lifting up, cobra or upward dog. Exhaling into your downward facing dog. Left leg this time. Inhales way up. Exhale, draw that knee through toward your chin, towards your chest. So use your breath to move. Find that extension, find that range of motion on this side of the body. It might feel the same as the first side. It might feel different. Navel pulls in, shoulders are strong away from the ears. You can do this with that right foot on the mat or with your right knee down on the mat. 2 more strong breaths. And on your last one here, drawing that knee forward and through, planting your foot. Feet are on railroad tracks as opposed to a tightrope. Inhale, lifting tall. Finding that tall crescent lunge. So from here, you can always change your foot placement. You can bring your hands down if you need to. You can take your eyes up if you want a challenge for your balance, or you can keep them forward for some control. Really strong, reach back through that back foot. Option to add that movement. Inhaling, exhaling over your left shoulder. You can turn and look, squeeze the shoulders down the back. Inhale, lift and scoop up. Exhale, pressing back down. You can turn and look, trying to get your hands at 180 degrees. Lots of good breath here. Moving in whatever way lets you match your breath and your movement. Just being really present with your pose, really strong through those legs. Shoulders set down the back. Last one here, or whatever you need to balance out this side of your body. Inhale to lift, exhale all the way down to your mat. Step into your plank. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, moving through that chaturanga. Inhaling, lifting up into your cobra or your upward dog. Exhaling into your downward facing dog. And from here, if you like, taking your hands, fingers are pointed forward, exhaling the forearms down to the mat, trying to let the elbows arrive at the same time. Firm pressure all the way down that forearm from the fingertips to the elbows, dolphin downward dog. And if you need to, or if you'd like to, you can tiptoe those feet in just a little bit. You're using your arms to slide your nose toward your toes. You're pushing strong through the forearms. Lots of shoulder work here. Nothing should hurt the shoulder though. So backing off if you need to. Lots of good breath. Lots of active arms. And then pressing up into your downward dog. Eyes look forward, walking it up. Finding your forward fold. Relaxing those arms and shoulders. Big toes come together. Heels slightly separated. Inhale, lifting up tall. Exhale your hands to your low back. So you can lock your fingers. They can be separate. They can be together. If you'd like, roll the shoulders back and open. Reaching long through those hands. Big toes together. Inhale, lift the heart. As you exhale, bending the knees soft. Dive the heart over the knees. Lift the pinkies up and overhead. As much as you can or as little. Any amount. Inhale to lift. Exhale, diving long. Spine is so tall. Just rainbowing those pinkies up and overhead. Mindful of the shoulders. Lots of good breath. Big inhale up. Exhale to dive that heart forward. Softening through the knees. And one more time, pushing through your heels. Lifting through your heart. Hinging and diving that heart forward. Big breath all the way back up. Feet are firm. And then bringing that back center, releasing your hands. You can wiggle out through your fingers. I'm going to grab a little drink. So we're going to keep going. We're going to build in some balance work. And if you are on your mat, if you have a really thick mat, and your balance feels like wobbly, you can just step onto a hard surface, or if you're on carpeting, you might want to step onto a harder surface. That will make it a little bit easier to control your balance. You can also always grab the back of a chair. You can touch on a wall. So whatever you need to for your balance work is fine. Wherever you're at right now is exactly where you need to be. Spreading out through those toes. Rolling the shoulders back. Take a deep inhale. Diving down on your exhale all the way into your plank, step or hop. Take a breath. Moving through your chaturanga. Big inhale up into your cobra or your upward dog. Exhaling into your downward facing dog. Really big reach here. Inhale that right leg way up. Exhale to the outside of your elbow this time. Inhaling to extend. So move with that breath. And your leg can be any amount of bent or straight. So if you want to keep that leg straight, you're going to give yourself more of a core challenge, just drawing a rainbow with your big toe. And if you want to keep it bent, that's still a core challenge. You can try and touch that tricep with the top of the thigh bone. 2 more breaths. And last one. This time, inhaling so tall. Exhale, planting your foot in a warrior stance. Toes are forward, back arch lines up with the heel or arch of your foot. Cartwheeling up into warrior 2. So your gaze is down that middle of the front arm. You're squaring the hips and shoulders to the long edge of your mat. That knee presses wide toward the pinky toe side of the foot. Shoulders are strong down the back. Spine is lifted, using that breath to help your pose. As you exhale, we're zipping up the spine. We're firming up those legs. Your back leg is your anchor leg. Through the blade of that foot, front foot is firm. Adding some movement here, inhaling to lift. Exhaling, pressing back down. Squeeze the shoulder blades down the back. Your eyes can follow your forward thumb, or they can just stay forward. So finding the edges of your pose, figuring out where those legs are today, creating some resistance in your arms, really deliberate breath, deliberate motion. One more time, into your warrior two. And from here, taking a giant step forward onto that front foot, you can do it all at once, or you can do a little bit at a time. So we're opening forward. Hips and shoulders are open, we're in kite. Radiate out through your fingers, through the top of the head. Squeeze through the glutes to kind of open the front body. Trying to keep your body very flat. And you can have a block or a table or something to touch, or you can go for the mat. It's okay to soften that knee, keeping the shoulders stacked, the hips stacked, and you can go for standing half moon here, letting that hand come touch, opening the heart. You can look to the side, you can look up, whatever's gonna work. Reach through your floating limbs. And then if you can, pushing through that heel, whoa. It's fine to wobble, it's fine to start over. Renew that lift. And then see if you can control it back into your warrior two. Planting that back foot. Flip the front palm, reverse your warrior. Long extension up. Bottom hand can trail, can wrap the low back, sinking into your lunge. If you'd like to, rainbowing those fingertips up and overhead. Breathing into the side body. One more time. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, cartwheel down to the mat. Step into your plank. Take a deep breath. Exhale, chaturanga down and through. Inhale to lift up. Exhale, back into your downward dog. Eyes looking forward. Step or hop into your forward fold. If you're hopping, trying to land soft. Spreading out those toes, inhaling all the way up. Strong arms, strong legs. Exhaling to your heart center. Finding your mountain. If you guys are warm, me too. You're doing well. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So finding that strong mountain pose at the top of your mat. Rolling those shoulders open, taking up your space with your body, with your breath, with your presence. Deep inhale up. Exhale, diving down into your plank. Step or hop, any way you want to get there. Taking a breath here. Exhale, moving through your chaturanga, big scoop. Inhale, lifting up, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale down, left leg way, way up. Exhaling to the outside of that elbow. So again, inhaling to lift and exhaling. And you can do this with that knee bent or with that knee straight. You can do this with that right knee on the mat or with that right foot on the mat. So moving through with your breath, if you can touch the thigh bone to the back of the arm, go for it. Couple more breaths here. Lots of strength, keeping the shoulders stable away from the ears. And on your last one, drawing that knee forward and through, planting your toes forward for a warrior stance. Back foot arch lines up with the front heel. And as you're ready, cartwheeling up, finding your warrior two on this side of the body. So you can take a minute, if you need to place your feet, to turn the hips and shoulders so they're squared up with the long edge of the mat. Gazes down that middle of the front arm. Finding the depth of that warrior strong lunge. Feel this hip opening as you're pressing that knee toward the pinky toe side of the foot. Inhaling yourself tall. Exhale, zipping up. Shoulders are strong down the back. You're anchoring firm through that back leg. Really, really, really strong. So from here, we're going to take this into that balance, that kite. So inhaling to lift off a little, stepping onto that front foot, either all at once or a little bit at a time. Finding your balance, touching on a chair or a wall if you need to, opening to the side wall. So you're squeezing the shoulder blades back. You're reaching through all points. Fingers, toes, top of the head. Open your heart, stack the shoulders and hips. Radiating that energy in all directions. Your standing leg can be a little soft. If you need it to be, keeping it so firm that core is engaged and strong, giving you good support. And then if you have room for it, you can bring a hand down to a table or a chair or a block or the mat or the floor. Going into your standing half moon. Open the heart to the side. Stack that shoulder one on top of the other. Squeezing through the glutes. Reach through the top of the head. Shoulders are far away from the ears. You're really strong, pushing through that standing leg to lift yourself up. Strong and engaged. And then from here, lifting back up if you can, finding your kite. It's fine if you wobble. If you wobble today, or have to start over, you're just going to work at a higher level next time. And then floating back into your warrior two, finding those feet. Flip your front palm, reverse that warrior way up. Backhand trails or wraps. Long, long, long side body stretch. Rainbow those fingers up and overhead. Breathe into your side body. Using that breath to expand the ribs. Feeling how your breath changes everything. Sometimes we need that reminder. Everything changes when you breathe. Inhaling to lift back up. Exhaling all the way back down to your mat. Stepping into your plank. Toes or knees, taking a breath here. Exhale, moving through your chaturanga, elbows in tight. Inhale, lift up. Exhale into your downward facing dog. Big extension. Just taking a moment if you need to pedal it out a little, walk the dog. Arms are still strong, feel that connection. Undersides of the knuckles, connecting to the mat. And eyes look forward. You can either step or hop into a forward fold. And if you're hopping, trying to land soft, relax the upper body, take any weight out of it. Spread out through those toes. Deep breath all the way up. Lifting tall. Exhaling, hands come to heart center. All the way into your mountain. Nice work. All right, we'll keep going. If you're still with me, so glad you are. And I know I had a few students that were able to see this, so if I have any students watching, young or old, thank you guys so much. It's really good to see you. We are going to keep on going. We'll add a little bit more balance. We'll add some floor activity too. Spread out through the top. At the top of your mat, spread out through your toes. Take a moment, find your mountain again, taking up that space wide across the shoulders. A little spiral in of the thigh bones, create some space through the hips for that breath. Inhale to lift, scooping that breath up. Exhale, diving down into your plank. Take a breath here. Exhale through your chaturanga. Big inhale up. Now again, you can reverse chaturanga or just go into a downward dog. So strong. So from here, you can either stay right here. You can always child's pose. You can take breaks. Or if you'd like to three-leg dog, picking up that right hand, threading the needle to the outside of the left leg. So you can go up high. As you move your hand lower, you're just looking under that left arm. That's a bigger shoulder twist. So taking your time here, figuring out where you need to be. Still keeping a tall extension through that spine, through that tailbone. One more breath. And then taking that back forward, taking that right leg way, way up. Giant step forward, planting your foot. Back foot plants in a warrior stance, so we're lining the back arch up with the front heel. And when your legs are ready, inhaling to lift up, warrior one. So finding that tall spine, you're turning that whole left side body forward. You're trying to get your hips and shoulders square with the front edge of your mat. Legs are really firm. Heart is lifted up. Little tuck under that tail. And you can have your hands down if you need them, whatever is going to work for you. Hands can be together or apart. You can stay right here if you'd like, reverent warrior. Inhaling, diving the heart over that front knee. Exhaling, lifting that heart up to the ceiling. You can also extend, placing that offering, inhaling, and exhale to lift. Your eyes can follow your thumbs, or they can stay somewhere on the floor if you'd like some greater control. Just keeping your gaze on the floor in front of you, whatever's gonna work. Spine is so tall, moving with your breath. Imagine a string attached to the top of your head, just pulling you through this beautiful arc of movement. And if you wobble, it's okay. If you have to pause, it's okay. If you have to just go a small amount, that's okay too. One more time. And bringing it all the way down to the mat, stepping right into a three-legged dog here. Right leg goes way, way up. Reach, reach, reach. Let that knee bend. Let your heel fall toward your hip. Reach your knee up to the ceiling. You can kind of look under your arm. And if you have room to let that keep going, shifting your weight to your left hand, right hand can rainbow up and overhead. Push through your feet. Lots of good breath. Open the whole front body. And then with control, closing that back up, right? Reaching that right foot way up. And then just stepping forward into your forward fold. Relaxing here. Spread out through those toes. Soften the knees. And just give your thigh bones a hug. And once you have a hold of your wrists or your forearms, then slowly straighten those legs until you feel a good stretch down the backs of the legs. Take a breath or two. Try to get some distance between the heels and the hips. Relaxing the neck and the head. And then soften those legs again. Release your arms. Inhaling all the way up. Building up your spine. So tall. Exhale, using those hands to draw the midline of your body. Finding that tall, strong mountain. So go into the same thing on the other side. I'm going to do my best to remember what we just did. Spread out through your toes. Activate through your legs. Adjust your pants. Inhale to lift up. Exhale, diving down into your plank any way you want to get there. Take a breath. Toes or knees. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, lifting up. Exhaling into your downward facing dog. So from here, again, you can keep it right here, or if you'd like to, left arm this time can thread the needle for a three-legged dog. So you can go up high on your thigh bone. As you get your hand closer to your ankle, you're going to find a greater rotation. So keeping that extension through the tailbone, letting those heels melt, legs are active. Lots of good breath. Use your exhale to help rotate those shoulders. So strong. And if you need to have all 4 points of contact, this is an option. Lots of options. Using that exhale to help turn the shoulders. And then bringing that back. Inhaling your left leg way up. Exhale, stepping forward and through. Planting that back foot, lining up the arch with the front heel. Front toes track forward. Inhale up. Finding warrior one. So again, you can take some time to place your feet. Nothing is static. You can always change your length of your stance, whatever you need. Turning the hips and shoulders forward, squaring to the front edge of your mat. Heart lifts, shoulders melt down the back. Lots of good breath. Breathing into the low belly, all the way into that right hip. You're turning the right hip and shoulder forward, just spinning it to the front edge of the mat. Lots of good breath. So you can either maintain right here in warrior one, or if you want, reverent warrior, inhaling as you extend long, exhaling as you lift up. Again, placing that offering, keeping it really tall. Using that breath to move, finding that exhale as you lift up, imagining that string leading your spine through this really big arc. Keeping it extended. Back leg is your anchor leg, so you can do any amount of hinge here, a little or a lot, or not at all. Taking about 2 to 3 more breaths on your own. keeping it so extended, keeping your breath and your movement together. And on your last one, taking it all the way back down to your mat, stepping into your plank, taking a breath here, and exhale, chaturanga down and through. Inhale to lift up, cobra or upward dog. Exhale into your downward facing dog. And eyes look forward, you can step, oh no, not step or hop, we gotta do that other side. Take your left leg. See, I'm used to having people in class to remind me when I forget something. Left leg reaches way, way up, 3-leg dog. We're gonna bend that heel. And let that knee reach to the ceiling. Right heel's melting down. Arms are so strong you can look under that left arm. Breathe and open through that left hip. You can stay right here, or if you'd like, you can let that foot continue. Shift your weight to your right hand. Left hand reaches upward. Plant the feet, push firm through the feet, lift the hips. Rainbow those fingers up and overhead. Your gaze can look just back and overhead. So any version that you need. Pushing strong, opening the front body, lots of good breath. And then as you feel ready, closing that back up, reaching into that 3-leg dog, and then stepping it all the way forward into your forward fold. Relaxing through the upper body, letting those arms relax. And then just allowing your body to feel like a rag doll, just loose, keeping the feet firm. Begin drawing the navel inward, keeping the legs active. Build the spine up, one vertebrae at a time. Feeling your spine stack up, shoulders roll back, lengthening through the back of the neck, really tall spine. Guys, you're doing good. I'm so used to having my class and having somebody there where I can ask if I forgot something, if I'm having a moment. I'm doing my best to remember everything, guys. So we're gonna add on a little bit more. We're gonna bring it down to our mat and do some work down on the mat. So we'll get there from our sun salutation, and I will do my best to try and turn my body if I feel like that's gonna help. So again, if there's something that you're not sure about anytime during the video, you can, if you already know me through text or Facebook, you can send me a message, or if you're not somebody I've met before, then you can leave a comment and I can do my best to kind of answer any questions that you may have. Top of the mat. Spread out through your toes, roll the shoulders back and open. Take a breath up. Exhale into your plank, all the way into your chaturanga. Inhaling as you lift up. Exhale into your downward facing dog. And from here, I'd like you to take your feet about mat width apart, so a wider stance, or roughly shoulder width, maybe a little wider than shoulder width apart. And we're gonna just take this and bend the knees and come into a tabletop. Now you can go all the way to the mat if that's more comfortable, or if you wanna keep that core more engaged, you can float those knees just barely above the mat. Extending back, and then hinging into that bear, wide foot bear. Navel pulls in so strong. Shoulders are very stable. Using that breath to move, keeping your spine as straight as you can, letting those heels melt, and then pulling that back into those floating knees. 2 more breaths. So from here, you can either step wide, or you can hop wide into a deep Malasana squat garland pose. So you are sitting flat on your feet, you're sitting your weight back into your heels, shoulders are down, you're trying to go for a very straight spine, using your hands together and your elbows to help open the hips. Now if you have a block, you can place the block under your hips and have some support there. If you're finding that your weight is forward and you're not getting your heels flat, that's okay. Our goal is to bring those heels down. You could also roll up a towel or blanket and put those underneath your heels to prop support them. So from here, breathing. Inhaling inhaling yourself a little bit taller. Exhaling, navel pulls in. Feeling that 3-part breath that we did earlier this morning. Inhaling into the low belly, the sides, and then the ribs. And as you exhale, bringing the ribs in, and then the sides, and the belly. Take one more breath. All right, from here, using your hands, making them very, very big so you have a really big base of support, like think of like a duck foot. Bringing your hands about shoulder width apart. You're gonna feel like you are squeezing your upper arms, like doing a thigh master on your arms. And if you're too young to know about thigh master, welcome to this page in this class. You're squeezing your arms. And if you are squeezing those arms, you're also pressing the arms against the legs. So you're pressing in and out at the same time. Lots of strength here. Shoulders sit down, navel pulls in, so you're doing a little crunch. And you can start to lean that weight forward, just kind of shifting your weight, reaching through the top of the head. Elbows are bent in a chaturanga, so my elbow is going to a bent posture. And going into our crow pose, maybe as you shift your weight and you pull the belly in and you push through the palms, maybe those toes will lift. Maybe one, maybe both, and maybe not. But you want to feel that your arms and your upper body, try it again if you can, feel like the arms and the upper body are starting to bear your weight a little bit more. Breathing strong, still reaching through the top of the head, navel pulls in, and then bringing that back down. Going back into your Malasana squat. Inhale to lift up, push through those heels. Woo. Exhale right back into that Malasana. So your feet are wide, your feet are pretty wide. And we'll do that again. Breathing up, push through your heels, lift. Catch a bubble, lower it down, straight spine, finding that Malasana. Doing that 2 more times, pushing up through the heels, lift, big breath, exhale, bringing that back down, keeping it nice and wide. So one more time if you'd like, planting those palms, squeezing through the knees, through the arms, belly button pulls in, and as you reach forward through the top of the head, you're just shifting that balance. You're finding that point, that tipping point. Your hands are like the fulcrum, and you're just finding that balance. 2 or 3 more breaths. You can go in and out of this pose at will, stabilizing through the shoulders, pulling the navel in. And from the top of your mat here, if you are in any version of this pose, you can either step or hop into a plank. Anything you need to do here, right into a downward dog. And then widening your hands just a little bit, going into a bear. Inhaling the knees almost to the mat, exhaling back up. Keeping those arms really strong, so feel the undersides of your knuckles connecting with the mat. Eyes can look forward, and from here we're gonna either step or hop to have a seat. And if you are doing a jump through, you're really feeling like those core muscles are pulling in. So take a minute if you need to kind of roll out through those wrists. We're getting there, guys. I'm sweating over here, so if you have built up some body heat, if your body's feeling warm, the shoulders are kind of warmed up, nice and juicy. Good, good, good. So from here, just finding that same exact jump through strength, we're gonna go ahead and just practice that a little bit without actually jumping through. So sitting tall, you can cross your shins, and I'm right over left, but we'll do both ways. And you wanna take your posture and just sit as tall as you can. Lift your spine up out of your tailbone. Let the shoulders come down away from the ears, down the back. And feel as if you're trying to roll and tuck into a little ball. So you're making yourself into this little ball, this little egg shape. And as you do that, crunching the ribs to the hips, navel pulls back, hug in those legs as tightly as you can. And then try not to lose any amount of tuck. And if you can, then remove those hands. Here is your jump through. So you're pushing your palms into the floor. You're pulling your belly button in. You're squeezing your knees toward your shoulders, tucking the chin a little. Belly pulls in, and then rest. So jump through, we have a lot of active muscles that are helping you to get through that jump through. Cross your legs the other way. Finding that balanced posture, starting with a tall spine. So now I have my left over my right, but if you started the other way, just do the other side. Hug that in as tight as you can tuck. And then draw that in. If you can balance on your tailbone and float your feet off the mat, you can do that. Shoulders away from the ears, belly pulls in. Close the ribs to the hips. Feel all those muscles crunching. Pull those knees in. And then feel like you're pushing away. Broadening across the upper back. Lots of breath. Lots of core work here. Super strong. Here is your jump through. There's all those muscles activating. And then rest. Out of that, good job. All right, so just sitting however is comfortable, rolling back through those shoulders. Inhale to lift. Exhaling over one shoulder. I'm going over my right shoulder. Use a hand on your thigh bone, another hand on the mat behind you. Lift tall, feel the sits bones rooting down. Look all the way over that shoulder. Inhale yourself a little taller. Exhale, find some rotation. You're just twisting out that breath, twisting out that spine. Exhaling like you're just wringing out a dish rag, squeezing all that water out. Exhaling, squeezing all that breath out. Release the pressure from your hands. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale to the other side, turn and rotate, shoulders turn. Sit very tall, look all the way over that shoulder. Use your hands to help you with that rotation. And again, inhaling yourself so tall, exhaling and finding that twist. Renew the height in your spine every time you inhale, rooting down through the sits bones, lifting through the top of the head, shoulders away from the ears. And then releasing that back center, big breath up. Exhale, just hinging forward. Relax through the top of the head, dropping the chin, rolling yourself on up. So we're going to go into a little inversion to end our practice, and then we will finish with a Shavasana. So an inversion is just getting parts of your body that are not normally above your heart. So you don't want to take this any further than is comfortable. And we're going to be going into a bridge, and you just want to be mindful of your neck and your shoulders and your knees. And if something does hurt, don't do it. Back away, be kind to yourself with your practice, and only do what your body's going to be okay with during that time with your pose and with your breath. So make sure you have room behind you on your mat. You're just going to roll it down. Take a minute to just get yourself kind of squared up. So you're squaring the shoulders and the hips as if they're the 4 points on a rectangle, lengthening the back of the neck, getting those arms and shoulder blades beneath you. Really even pressure from the backs of the shoulders down the tricep, forearm, wrist, palm, fingers, all down that arm. Planting the feet, taking a deep inhale, and as you exhale, peel the spine off the mat, one vertebrae at a time. Knees are tracking forward, lifting up into that bridge. And at the top here, just holding, and you're finding that strength. You're trying to keep the knees tracking forward, keeping pressure through the arms. Take a breath here at the top, and as you exhale, reapply your spine back down to the mat, walking that vertebrae down, pressing through the upper back, middle back, lower back, and then finding neutral at the bottom of your bridge. Taking a breath, exhale, rolling up. And you might notice here that you might have a point where your thigh bones kind of wobble in and out, or maybe you feel that your weight on your feet is shifting. So you want to do your best to stabilize that. Breath or two here at the top, so strong. Arms are strong, shoulders are not creeping up away, or creeping up by the ears, they're staying down. Lots of good breath, lots of good hip strength. Breath at the top. Exhale, begin to walk those vertebrae back down. Imagine painting a long line with your spine. You're trying to get a lot of distance between each vertebrae. Going back to a neutral spine at the bottom. One more time. Rolling up through that bridge. And this time, if you'd like to float those arms up and overhead, if there's room for it, you can go for it. Take a breath at the top. Exhale, keeping the foot pressure even, trying to let your hands and your tailbone arrive at the exact same moment with your breath. One more time. Exhaling, peeling the spine off the mat. Reaching overhead, keeping those thigh bones parallel. Deep inhale, and then exhale, trying to time your movement with your breath all the way back to neutral. And just take those knees and hug them in. You can roll it out a little bit. Anything you need to do to resolve your limbs, your muscles and joints. And if you'd like to, you can take your hands on top of your knees, stir the thigh bones, massaging out that low back, circling the tailbone, just using your body weight to give that low back a little massage. Other way. And then bringing that center, butterfly circles. You can either hold the knees or you can release them if you need a larger range of motion through your hip. Whatever you need to do here. Other way. And then just bringing that back. If you need to windshield wiper those legs a little bit, you can. Whatever you need to do to resolve your limbs. And we're going to go into a little Shavasana, our corpse pose, just to finish our practice today and to let our practice kind of settle into our thoughts, into our bodies. If you have a sweatshirt or something, or a blanket, or anything to keep your body temperature in a good place, you can take a minute to get that now. Sometimes after you've kind of warmed up and your body is sweating a little, you don't want to get too cold. So getting yourself comfortable on your mat. And your Shavasana can be laying on your back, it can be laying on your side. If it's uncomfortable to do those, you can be seated. So really, whatever is going to be comfortable for you. In these last few moments of class, it's your practice. If you are laying on your mat, you can kind of imagine your yoga mat as like a beach towel on a warm sandy beach. And you're just digging that spot for yourself with your hips, with your shoulders, the back of the head. Letting everything settle. And you've done a lot of breath and body control in the last hour. So now you just are going to become an observer of your breath. Just notice the inhale. Notice the exhale. Notice that little pause that happens before your body takes another breath. And as you breathe, begin to relax across your scalp, smoothing out your forehead, softening the brow. Allowing the eyes to relax in their sockets, eyelids heavy over them. Feel the muscles in the face soften and relax. Allowing the jaw to go slack. Feeling the tongue floating inside of your mouth. And as you continue to breathe, feel the shoulders melt into the mat with every exhale. Feel the collarbones slide away from each other as you breathe. Allow the arms to remain heavy at your sides. Softening the muscles away from the bones, from the shoulders down to the elbows. Softening the muscles away from the bones, from the elbows down to the wrists. Releasing any remaining tension from the palms of the hands. Feeling it exit through your fingertips. And allow the arms to remain heavy at your sides, drawing your focus back to your breath as it moves through the torso, feeling the rise and fall of the ribs and belly with every inhale and exhale. And with each breath, feel the back soften and relax melting into the mat a little bit more with each exhale. Softening through the upper back, through the middle back, and through the lower back. Begin to relax through the hips, and just as your arms are heavy at your sides, allow the legs to grow heavy beneath you, allowing them to rotate to a fully relaxed position in the hip sockets, softening the muscles away from the bones from the hips down to the knees, softening the muscles away from the bones from the knees down to the ankles. Releasing any remaining tension from the arches of the feet, and becoming aware of the space in between each one of your toes. And as your body relaxes as a whole unit, begin to deepen your breath. Allow it to wash over you from head to toe, reaching all parts of your body, breathing in the fresh air, breathing out the old stale air. Allowing that breath to rejuvenate your limbs, to bring the oxygen to your muscles, waking up the arms and the legs, hands and feet, fingers and toes. And still keeping your limbs heavy and loose, draw the knees up, extend the right arm overhead, and gently roll yourself onto your right side. And just take a moment, allow your breath to regulate, allow your body to acclimate. And as you feel ready, press yourself up to sit comfortably, any way that's comfortable to you. Arms are still heavy and loose. Feeling the vertebrae lift and float out of the tailbone. Lots of space between the ears and shoulders. Just take a moment to acknowledge your accomplishments with your practice in the last hour, and take a moment of gratitude for the time you took for your practice today, for the challenges that you rose to meet within that practice. And in this very different time that we kind of are starting off at, if I normally would see you on a Saturday morning, thank you so much for joining me here instead virtually. And I would love to continue this on Tuesday evenings and on Saturday mornings. So if you would like to join me again, please do. And I hope this finds you all really well. And I hope this helps you have some peace throughout your day and your week. Bringing your hands together, matching the palms, to your forehead for good thoughts, to your lips for good words, to your heart for good deeds, taking one full breath. And just let it go. And when I say namaste, I mean the light in me recognizes and sees the light in you, and all of me sees all